What's up, and welcome to the Single Player Experience Podcast. I'm your host, Sebastion, and in this episode, we're going to be going over and doing a deep dive into one of the hottest indie games this year, and that is Makis Adventures. This is a game that really stood out to me, and I feel like it's flying way underneath the radar. So, in this episode, I thought I'd up the ante. Instead of me just doing a deep dive on what I liked about the game, I thought I'd invite the creator and director of the game, Mateo, to talk all about the game. So, in this episode, we're going to be talking to him about the direction of the game's inspirations, and a lot of the game's key features. So, if you want to hear about a cool indie game that you should definitely check out, then stay tuned, because we're going to have that for you and more right after the intro. DJ, start the intro, man. This is the Single Player Experience, the podcast that helps single-player gamers manage their video game backlog. I'm your host, Sebastion, and my main quest is to help you manage your ever-growing video game backlog by letting you know which single-player games are worth your time and money so that you can have the best single-player experience. Now, without further ado, let's start the show. DJ, cut the beat. Hey everyone, like I said in the intro, we have a very special guest joining us today. He is the creator of one of the dopest games of 2023. I promise, man, y'all should play this. Y'all are sleeping on an absolute banger. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today is the creator of Makis Adventures. He's the founder of ZoroArts Studio. He is the one, the only, Mateo. Mateo, how you doing today?
Hello. Thank you for the invitation to the interview. I'm really good. Thank you for the invite. And how about you?
Man, I'm doing great. Mateo, for the people who may not know you, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Okay, so my name is Mateo. I'm a 20 years old game dev from Germany. I opened the game studio ZoroArts. It's a solo developer studio and it's only me. So I do all the stuff, all the magic behind the games. In 2021, I started with the development of my first video game, Makis Adventure. And yeah, right now it's released and I'm here to talk about it.
Man, that's amazing. So I gotta ask, at 21 years of age, right?
2020.
20, you're about to be 21. I rounded up a little bit, but
this year it's 21, yeah.
Yeah, this year is 21. So at 20 years old, you created a video game. What was that like? Like at 20 years old, you created something with like that people can actually go out and play right now.
It's really unreal, to be honest. It's really exciting to release a video game and to develop it. Like from the development side, you just sit at home and look at code and art, and it's nothing that big. But in the end, if you look at your journey, for example, I tested some old game builds from 2021 in the beginning, like 1 week after development start. And to see the progress from this game build to the actual released video game, it's really special and it really made me happy, to be honest. You have to stick to it, you have to work on it daily, and it's a daily grind. I worked on the game almost every day over the 2 years, and it's really great to made it to the end.
Okay. So, I kind of ran you through what we're going to be talking about on the show, but like I forgot to tell you of a question that kind of just popped into my head just now. Like you created this for 2 years after you hit the release and published the game. How did you celebrate? Did you have some cake? What'd you do to celebrate that?
At the first point, it was like I released a video game. It's great. I celebrated. I talked to friends. We went out and had a great dinner at a restaurant, and walked through a park and talk about the time. But it's also like it was really stressful to release a game because like there appeared many different bugs that are all fixed by now that were reported. But those bugs really made me a stressful release, to be honest. It's like I had on release day, the people liked the game. They really loved it. It had a positive rating on Steam on the first day. So it went into a great direction. But it's also like the game is great, but there are too many bugs. So I knew I had to have to fix the bugs ASAP. Just on day one and day two, I fixed almost every bug that was reported. And after that, it's like streamers played it, YouTubers played it, and they all had a great time. I got great feedback from players, and it felt really great. but it was a really stressful time, to be fair, with the bugs.
So you went out to dinner and then got right back to work on fixing all the bugs, huh?
Yeah, that's the game dev life. You don't have time to celebrate. There are so many bugs, and also like next games and projects that want to be started, and no time to celebrate right now.
I understand. So at 20 years old, putting out your first game, like how long have you been in game development?
Before Makis Adventure, it was like 1 year of prototyping.
Mhm.
I made many different prototypes, so it's not the first game, but the first release game from me, Makis Adventure. Before
That's really
Makis
cool.
Adventure, I made, I think, 11 prototypes. I released also 2 mobile games that were just like 2 or 3 levels, so just the basic game loop. But the players really liked it, and it had like 4 stars in the Play Store, 4 out of 5. So it was really great to get feedback on some games you made, and also not only feedback from players like friends, but also feedback from unknown players from the internet. It was really great to get this like not neutral feedback, I think.
Okay.
And also like I developed some game jams, of course. It was the first project I started was a game jam project where I had to develop a game in one day, and also one game jam with 7 days of time. It was really great. It was a great thing to start, and I would do it over and over, make game jams, small prototypes, and then with the time you go into the big releases.
Okay. I gotcha. I gotcha. That's really cool, man. It sounds like you just like hit the ground running though. It's like you got into this and you just like, hey man, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm like, you sounded like you just were on a mission.
Yeah, it's always a grind, game
Mhm.
development. You don't have like after you release a game, I always want to make a new game. It's like I love making video games, and for example, after the 2 years of development, I just started with my new game right now, and it feels really great to start off with a completely new game from zero. So if you develop a game for 2 years, after 1 year, it's just like you play this game every day for testing. You also like you start the game engine with this game every day, and it gets kind of boring, to be honest.
Mhm.
So it's like it feels great to dive into new projects and start off completely new and fresh.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. Well, Mateo, I want to get to know you a little bit more. So I'm going to ask you one of the hardest questions that you like gamers have to answer, and that's what are your top games of all time, like top five?
My top five, like my number one spot is Wind Waker from the Zelda series.
Hmm.
I just love the art style. I love the stories, and it's also the main inspiration behind Makis Adventure.
I I could
Um,
see that. I could see that.
yeah, many players told me that the game reminds them of Wind Waker, and that's really an honor for me.
Hmm.
It feels great that players feel this nostalgic and great feeling like from Wind Waker with the big ocean world and many different islands. That's the vibe I wanted to catch with my game.
That's amazing. So
Okay,
what's
number
two?
two.
Mhm.
It's really hard because I have so many favorite games. Number two is Hollow Knight. Hollow
Oh
Knight is a great game
yes.
in my opinion, and I'm really anticipating Silksong. And yeah, it's a great game. I love the platforming and the art style. Like Hollow Knight was one of the big inspirations behind the platforming, and I knew I want to make a platformer when I played Hollow Knight. To be honest, I played Hollow Knight right into the development, so it wasn't like I played Hollow Knight and then I decided to make the game.
Hmm.
But Hollow Knight accompanied me throughout the journey of development.
Oh,
So
that's
I
really
played a
cool.
lot to get inspiration for how to make like jump physics be great, and for example also boss fights. How to make boss fights. I always love to get inspiration from other big games. Oh, okay. So number three is I would say is Overwatch. I love it. I play it a lot with my friends, and I to be honest, right now I only play multiplayer games. I lost the love right now. I don't have anything because Silksong is not out yet, so I don't have like. I played Wind Waker someday, and I started a new save file with Wind Waker. It's also a great game. I want to play over and over my life, and also like maybe I will play some more Zelda games, like Ocarina of Time is also on my playlist for a long
Mhm.
time now. I played as a child, and so I would say spot number 4 would be Ocarina of Time. I
Okay.
loved it on my Nintendo back then. Okay, number 5. It's
Yeah.
really it's really exciting to choose one of the games I love. I would say I don't want to give it to another Zelda game. I would say Pokemon Pearl. Pokemon Pearl was a
Oh, okay.
big game for me in my childhood. I love to play Pokemon games, and I think Pokemon Pearl was my first Pokemon. I mean, I was born in 2002, so I didn't grow up with Pokemon Gold or Pokemon Red. I
Hmm.
grew up with Pokemon Pearl. And yeah, Pokemon Pearl would be my spot number 5, I would say. I just love the pixel art, and I would wish that Nintendo start over with a new Pokemon in pixel art style, to be honest.
I'm right there with you, but like I felt like that was my old man kind of talking because I'm 31 at the like right now, and like I grew up with like red, blue, gold, silver, crystal, and all those. Those were kind of like my pearl, so to speak. And like I miss that art style. It was so
Yeah,
simplistic but so detailed at the same time. I miss it. Yeah, I almost wish they'd like come out with a 3D game and then come out with a 2D game, sort of like what we get with Mario, but. Yeah, I'm so curious. So follow-up questions here. Like, all right, so I heard a lot of Zelda. Are you going
yeah,
to be playing Tears of the Kingdom this year?
of course.
Yeah.
I loved Breath of the Wild, so it
Hmm.
was a big game for me back in I think it was 2017,
Yeah,
right?
2017. Hmm.
Yeah, I played it a lot, and I loved the. I really loved that you could explore and experience the old spots like the London farm, if you know it.
Hmm.
Like to see that they built it into the game, and that they built all these nostalgic places from Zelda into one big game. It's like a dream game for me, Breath of the Wild. So I think Tears of the Kingdom would be my number one game right now to look for in the future. Yeah, I will definitely play that.
I understand. I understand. So one last get to know you type of question. So if Kirby from Super Smash Brothers in the Kirby series absorbed you, what kind of powers would he get?
Like one of the big things about me is that I eat a lot and I love to eat. So eating food is one of my things I love to do next to sleeping and developing. And I would say maybe that he could eat more when he eats me, like his hunger gets bigger and increases. So something like a big boy mode, I would say,
I like that.
where
I
he
like
just
that.
eats through the whole game world. I would maybe end, but maybe he has to sleep to recover. Then that would be the flaw behind the mechanic.
He's got to hibernate after he has his big meals. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. So tell me then, what's the go-to like meal for you, snack, so to speak?
Go to me. I love potatoes. I love
Potatoes.
noodles.
Hmm.
Like this. How do you say it? Um, I love to go to the Asian market and this rice with I don't know, not cooked, but I
Like
will.
steamed.
Yeah, steamed rice.
Hmm.
That's I love it.
Oh,
And
okay.
also fish. I love fish. Yeah, fish and
Okay.
rice.
I got you. I got you. So before we go though, you're gonna have to give me like a German dish to recommend to me because I might have to try it out. So before that though, let's get to the topic of the show because we got a cool game to talk about. So before we get to that though, I want to ask you, you came up with a really cool studio name, ZoroArts. How'd you come up with that
Yeah.
name?
Many people think that it comes from the sword fighter
Hmm.
Zoro from One Piece. I love the character to be honest. Yeah, it may be one of the inspirations, but the thing I thought about when thinking about the name was the Pokemon Zoroark, if you know it.
Oh, hmm.
I love his design and I wanted to build it into my studio name. And I also later on, I think I wanted to go into more of a personal name, but it was just too late because everyone knew me as ZoroArts. I couldn't
Hmm.
change my name now. So yeah, I stick to the name.
I like it. I like it though. Like you said though, I almost like right when I read it for the first time, I immediately pictured the One Piece character Zoro. You know,
Yeah, that's a great character, but not my main inspiration.
I feel you. I feel you. So let's talk about it for the people who may not have heard of this game, because like I said, I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on an absolute banger
Yeah.
here. Can you describe Makis Adventures to the audience?
I have this one elevator pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Fight, dash, swim, and bite your way through 3 different dungeons. Let your inner shark out. That's the main elevator pitch. So it's basically about you play as this small demon called Maki, and you wake up in an old prison cell, and the only thing you wake up to is next to your brother, and then you have to find your explore your story again, what happened to you, and basically you have to find your shark tooth because some evil antagonist stole your shark tooth from you, and you have to travel between different dungeon islands and recover all the shark tooths. And with each shark tooth, you get one shark ability back. So
Mm-hmm.
you, in the end, you have 3 different shark types: the reef shark, the hammerhead shark, and the mako shark. Every shark has different abilities and pros and cons. So you have to basically get the shark types and use them in puzzles, for example, or use them to fight against enemies and fight your way to the evil antagonist at the end of the game. It's 5 to 6 hours of playtime, and yeah, it also features a 3D hub world where you travel between the island in the Wind Waker style.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny that you mention it, because now that you say Wind Waker, like that's all I can think of. It's like it is very Wind Waker when you're traversing through the islands. But like
Yeah,
when I was playing the game, like maybe this is because I'm like a old grouchy old man, but like I was thinking like it almost felt like Diddy Kong Racing meets like Mario 64 type of art style, to where like it almost felt like Nintendo 64-esque, to where like the like that kind of open world. But it really is like really amazing how you come up with that concept, because it is very unique to have like a 2D action platformer mixed in with like a 3D open world dynamic, to where you get to traverse the different islands like that.
yeah.
How'd you come up with this game, man?
It's really like not that planned. Many people
Hmm.
think that I have one big game design document where I planned every step in the development at the beginning of the development, but that not at all the my case. In my case, it's more like I love to describe it as I have an idea and I will implement it. So over the time, I just got all the ideas. To be honest, the shark ability, that's something players really think about when I say that, but the shark ability came into the game 1 year after development start. So
Wow.
at the beginning of the game, it should just be a platform of a demon. But 1 year after the development, I really came up with the idea, why don't I add sharks into the game? Because I was working on a swimming feature for the game. So in Mario style, you should jump into water and swim with your character through the water to make some cool water traversion. But after I coded the movement physics, I was more like, that's more like swimming like a fish. And
Hmm.
then I thought maybe he transforms because players really like transformations in video games. Like when you see this, I have one game in my mind where you transform into a dragon, and it looks so cool. And it's also an indie game. When I saw it, I was really in love with it. But back in 2022, beginning of 2022, I came up with the idea. I think I just love sharks for my whole life. I think they are really beautiful and really cool creatures and animals. So I really wanted to give them a high role into my game and maybe make them the main feature because sharks are so unique and special animals. Like every different shark type in the real world has also different like pros. For example, the mako shark is really fast in the real world,
Hmm.
so it's really like one of the fastest animals in the water, and it's really like I came up with it. Oh, it has to be a speed boost for the mako shark in this case. So I really wanted to come up with really natural and really self-explanatory ideas for the shark abilities. not like, oh, the micro shark can shoot laser beams, for example. I do not wanted to make ideas like that. Yeah, I came up with the ideas really spontaneous. First of all, I just made one basic shark, and like 2 weeks later, I thought, why not different shark types with different abilities? Yeah, so that's how the idea came into the game.
I love it. I love it. So, how did you decide which sharks to put in? Because like you said, you're a big shark enthusiast, so to speak. Like you were talking right now, and I felt like I was like watching like Shark Week from Animal Planet and such like that. I'm like, man, you can tell that you love these animals. I'm like, how'd you decide on those three though?
Like with the hammerhead and with the macro shark, it was really clear for me because the
Hmm.
hammerhead shark is really has this special look, and
Hmm.
it also like when players hear it's a hammerhead shark and there's a breakable stone wall, maybe the hammerhead shark is the
Yeah.
one with who can help here. But with the reef shark, for example, I'm really not good with the idea right now because later in the development I just recognized there is this tiger shark in the real world, which
Hmm.
would fit way better to the aggressive fighter shark. So if I could change it right now, I would make it into a tiger shark and not a reef shark,
Hmm.
because a reef shark is really like basic and normal, and the other sharks are so special and look so different. Like for example, the mako shark is really stretched and he has his big eyes, so that's where he looks really like a ghost, really unique in the real world too.
Hmm.
So that's how I designed him. But for example, the reef shark, I really wanted to make him a tiger shark later on, but it was too late.
I feel you. I feel you. So maybe if you decide to do a future installment into Makis Adventure, you can do the
Yeah.
Tiger Shark. But you absolutely killed it with this game. So you have sharks that have different abilities, like you were describing. But let's talk about the art style. What made you decide on using that 2D/3D art style there?
Like with the pixel art, it was my first game in pixel
Hmm.
art style, but I just wanted to make pixel art because I love Pokemon Pearl. So I really love this pixel art design in my early age, and I wanted to make a video game for a long time. And I was like, there are so many cool 3D games. I want to go into the 2D direction because I thought with 2D you can basically decide on the look because you draw it. In 3D,
Hmm.
there's rendering the 3D objects, and it will not. I always thought that it will not look like in Blender, my 3D software. It will be not have the same look in the Unity engine. But when
Hmm.
I draw with pixel art, I know how it will look in the game engine, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
And because I set the colors manually on each pixel, and yeah, and I also love Pokemon Pearl, so that's why I decided on 2D pixel art. And like it may surprise you, but also the 3D hub world feature came really late in development.
wow.
Yeah, it was like a really spontaneous idea because a short hike.
Hmm.
It was a game I played. I found on itch.io. I played it, and then I played it for 2 3 hours, completed it, and then completely fell in love with the look. I loved the 3D pixelized look, and I watched some GDC talk from the developer,
Hmm.
and he talked about how he made it. To be honest, I saw the video and I thought, that may not be fitting for my game. Maybe I will find another approach. And later on, I wrote another different render pipeline feature for Unity. So I'm rendering it in pixel art and not like he, for example, made a new camera and downsized the resolution of the image that the camera renders. So that's how he made it. But I thought that it gets too uncontrolled results sometimes. So I made this into my own approach. And yeah, I came up with the idea from a short hike, which was a great inspiration for the 3D pixel art.
I love
And
that
also,
game. Love that game.
yeah, me too. I love it. I love the game design and the world, and I could talk about it for hours. But yeah, like I knew when I have this 2D pixel art style, I cannot just make 3D models with hard edges. So this will not look like a same game, and this will not match the other art style. So I knew I have to pixelize it in any way, and yeah, that's my thoughts about the 3D pixelization.
I like that. I like that. So,
Thanks.
what would you think like how would you describe like the lessons that you learned while creating this game? And not just on the technical side. I'm like, what did this game teach you about yourself?
There's so much I learned on my lesson, on my 2 year journey. It's like I started when I thought like making a game. I made prototypes is really easy. I will make the game in 2 to 3 weeks. Then I got my school graduation at the same time, so it was a really tough time for me. I had to write my last exams and learn for school really much. And like development came really short, maybe 1 or 2 hours a day in the evenings. So it's really one thing that held me back from my development time. But I got it working somehow. I made a lot of progress in school in the breaks and took my laptop with Unity into my school and worked there in the library, for example. And right now I also like there's not like I'm not developing full time, so I have to balance a lot right now. Like my studies, I'm
Mhm.
studying informatics. It's full time university right now, and also like a mini job. So in my other time, I develop games and work on my studio. So yeah, I have to had to learn a lot about time management, also about how to market a game because I started with absolutely zero knowledge. I just thought I will post it on TikTok and Instagram and it will blow up immediately, but I never got any viral tweets except
Mhm.
my release day announcement with I think 100K views on Twitter.
Oh, that's really
But
cool.
yeah, it's also like because I posted it under tweets of like the Game Awards and the people that really loved it, the
Mhm.
community of the Game Awards, and that's what really helped me, like to know where to post the game, where the people are who would like the game and would share the game. Also, like if you know Big Mode,
Mhm.
this studio from Donkey, video game Donkey, he made a post like, "Show me your game for my studio, and maybe we will get into a contract." And I posted it there, and I was the first person who posted under his tweet, and this tweet blew up, and my tweet also blew up with that. I got like 50K views only from that posting there. So it really helped me a lot knowing where to post to market my game. Also, like I knew a lot about feature creep. I learned many things to avoid. Like it's not a good approach to not plan the development and make every decision really spontaneous. It's exactly the bad way and the not so good way. Uh, and yeah, I failed a lot, like submitting a game too late to any competitions.
Mhm.
Like there are a lot indie game showcases and in-person showcases, and I missed a lot of them because I didn't have this Google Doc sheet where you have all the data from the indie game industry. And it's really like I know where to find the events now, and I know I learned a lot on this side too. And yeah, also like I flew to many different and traveled to many different competitions and events. I also like through my connection, I got exhibitor pass for Gamescom last year, so I could go there too and talk with publishers, pitch my game, and also I had my first meetings with publishers and other people who bought my game, for example. Um, it failed in the end because the communication was a bit vague and not
Mhm.
not there. And also like I learned a lot about not giving up because of one big publisher who don't answered. So it was a big thing for me, a big learning thing for me, and I loved that I could learn so much.
Oh, that's amazing. It sounds like there's a lot of story there. I mean, you had
Yeah.
a lot of learning curves, a lot of like a lot of things you had to persevere through, and it's just amazing, man. You absolutely killed it. You got a game out,
Um,
and it's a good
one
game.
thing, one thing I have to admit, um, also like one big thing I learned is that I don't miss out small opportunities in the first site. For
Mhm.
example, there was this German video game award. I thought it's really small because they had like not a few hundred and a few thousand followers on the social medias and no one was speaking about it. So I thought it was not that special. But I learned a lot about it and I applied my game, my prototype for it in the last minute. And to my surprise, I got nominated for the German Video Game Awards then. And I won 25,000 euros from only this
What?
application.
That
Uh,
is amazing.
During development, it's
Mhm.
really like it was life changing for me. because like I'm only a student and I didn't know that this high amount of money was that great to get and that easy to get. Like I thought you have to work 7 years in the industry to make that amount of money.
Hmm.
And I was 19 at this time, so it was really special for me. And I could like upgrade my setup. I could buy me new programs that would be better than my actual programs, and it's really like a big opportunity for me.
That's amazing, man. That congratulations on that, and that's really
Thank you.
cool. I gotta ask you, what is your favorite feature about the game?
Um, Favorite feature is of course the shark
The sharks,
transformation.
yeah. Hmm.
But also like the 3D hub world is one thing I pitch in every pitch I write. So
Hmm.
I write it in every single pitch to publishers or YouTubers. Like, oh, this special thing is also like the game is 2D, but there's a 3D area as well. And every time I say it to someone in person, they are like, "Huh? What do you mean by that?" They are really surprised, and it's really the one thing that's also very unique about the game, like you said before.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah, that's my two main features, and I love the features.
I got you. I got you. So when you were planning this out, did you originally plan to have this being like a 5 to 6 hour kind of experience?
Um, in the start I planned to make it into a 10-hour experience, but it's one wish I had, and the wish really like vanished
Hmm.
because I had playtests and like when my brother played it, he's really like he plays games slow and like explores everything about the game because he's also a programmer and likes to break the game and find things to break and give everything like extra hours and extra minutes to take place, if you know what I mean. So having him test the game or other people I know test the game is like other players from my first internal playtest completed my demo in 20 minutes, and I planned a development time, playtime of 1 hour for the demo.
Hmm.
So it's like in the right now the demo has like a regular time of 50 minutes, but so 50 to 55, so 50 to 1 hour, for example, was the playtime right now. But it's like um, I later on I just found maybe not stretching the game out that much. Maybe I will stick to my main features and complete them and polish the game a bit more. And yeah, I'm really thankful for me that I didn't want to stretch out the game to 10 hours because I think it would be way more boring than.
Yeah, than intended. I like that. Because I feel like a lot of people kind of like you said, kind of like stretch it out and kind of
Yeah.
overpad, so to speak. And like a lot of people, especially in the indie space, when we play indie games, we like experiences that are curated and very much like tight, concise, very polished experiences, but like short, sweet, get to the get to like the buffet, get to the meal of it. And I
Yeah.
feel like, yeah, I feel like you do that really well in this game. I want to switch gears here. Like you have some really cool designs here, especially like the art style when it comes to the 2D aspect is one of the things that stood out to me, because like in one level you have an area where like you're dealing with mostly like plants, and you even have like a plant centric boss. Like what was it like coming up with all these different ideas for all the areas in the game?
It's really one thing that took way too much time deciding what elements and what part of the game should be like which elements in the real world. Like for example, I plan to make an ice themed dungeon.
Hmm.
So it's like an ice golem, for example, who is a big boss, and it's really slippery, and you have slide puzzles, for example. But that's where my big problem came in with the shark feature.
Hmm.
Like when there's ice, the water would freeze, and there would be no place for ice platform for water platforming in this area. So I later like crossed out the ice dungeon. Maybe this will come into an DLC, for example, on into the sequel. Who
Hmm.
knows? But like I knew the first dungeon will be like more of a tutorial dungeon where you meet the first characters, like get to know the shark platforming. This also the first dungeon was really like more on the land and not on the water. So I wanted to like introduce both gameplay types into the same percentage. So 50% land and 50% water gameplay. And yeah, it's my first theme of the dungeon, and it should be a prison because you should be prisoned by the evil antagonist, and you should wake up in your prison cell. So after that, I wanted to make like this Harbonia, this NPC island, like Portemonnaie from Wind Waker, where you meet other NPCs and no, you find this collectible, this Maki coins, but you don't have a boss, so it's really like relaxed, and you just make some mini games, have a great time, meet the doggo, and maybe pet the dog.
Yeah, I had to.
It's like one of the tweets where I showed that you can pet the dog reached like 30,000 views just because players love to pet the dog, and like this was the features. Like the other feature was fishing and petting the dog. Are those two features that players just love in video games, and there are those Twitter accounts where people just post about video games where you can pet the dog,
Yeah.
and like yeah, that's the idea I came up with, Harbonia Island. Then I also knew like from Pokemon there are this basic elements such as the leaf and the leaf element where you have this forest or jungle-like environment, and I knew that I want to make spiders as video game enemies in my game, and I also really want to make like this samurai type, this leaf samurai type of enemy with the who like has a stash ability, because I just designed some basic NPCs and then I came up with the enemy design. So I later on changed the NPC design, and it's more like the Leaf Samurai is an evil NPC, if you know what I mean. So it's
Yeah.
like one of the villagers, but maybe he got a curse, or maybe he got bitten by a spider and transformed to an evil villager, for example.
That's
Yeah,
really
that's how I
cool.
came up with the enemies there.
That's really cool. So before we go though, I have a couple more questions, final questions about the game. For one, let's tell people, where is the game available?
The game is available on Steam right now. Just search for Makis Adventure.
Mhm.
And also on itch.io, if you know the store. It's also like for indie games. And there's also in each store, this is like $9, $9 to
Mhm.
$10. I don't know the regional pricing for Steam, but like around $10 to $9, like in on Steam. Maybe also like with a sale. I don't know yet, but in the next few weeks, I want to make a launch post launch sale,
Mhm.
and yeah, but I will announce it on my Twitter account.
For sure, for sure. Have you played this game on the Steam Deck yet?
um I do not own a Steam Deck,
Uh-huh.
but I got many reports and players played on their Steam Deck already. Like the game runs alright on the Steam Deck. Like for example, I couldn't implement the correct UI for the keybind for the
Mhm.
controls because I just don't have a Steam Deck for testing. But players really like accept some small UI problems where the text is like a bit cropped by the ratio of the Steam Deck, but the rest is running really great, like from my players.
Yeah. So what was it like to see people playing your game?
Um, like one big thing for me was when one player sent me that he played the demo on his Steam Deck back when I developed the
Mhm.
game, and seeing my game running on the Steam Deck as a standalone, and like he was sitting there on his TV next to his TV on his couch and playing my game on his Steam Deck, and it's really like one thing that really like I was a dude playing other games with my Nintendo Switch, and now
Mhm.
people play my game on their Steam Deck, and it feels really special and really great as a developer.
That's
So
amazing.
that's really, and of course, like seeing people play the games on events like Gamescom or DevCom,
Mhm.
like when you walk past your booth and see someone having fun with your game in person, and like there was this one thing, like it was on the DreamHack. I submitted my game to DreamHack, and I exhibited there in Hanover in Germany. And I was there, and with my friend, we got to the diner and had a great food there. But I saw that the I think it was
Mhm.
the girl who no, it was a boy, it was a boy, the boy who started playing the game in the morning, like 5 hours ago, still stands there and played the game. So he played the
Wow.
game 5 hours long, and
Wow.
he didn't get bored or something like that. And it was like shortly before launch. It was like in December, and they launched the game in January. So he played almost the whole game right there back then on the booth there, and for 5 hours straight without a break.
Yeah.
That was really special for me. And like after that, I talked to the player, and he fell in love with the game world, and he taught me what could be improved because he's a big Hollow Knight fan.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was really one big moment for me.
Yeah, I kind of had the similar experience because like when I was playing the game, like I caught myself just I started it up and then I caught myself like just falling deep into it, and then I like looked at the time and turns out I'd been playing for like 3 to 4 hours, and I was like, where did that time go? Like it was, and it was I just didn't know. I was just completely enraptured. I was having fun, and it felt very Mario-esque to where like it was.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily have to think too much. It was like I was just having a good time with the game aspects, such as like the platforming. I was like helping some people like run some errands and different things like that, and I was just having a good time. I really enjoyed that aspect of the game. So I want to ask you though, like the I always like asking developers when I do these interviews just one weird question, and my weird question for you is if you had to go out with Makis and you know both of y'all ordering food, what are you ordering at this meal?
Like of course we would go into a sushi restaurant.
Yeah.
So because like Maki is a shark,
Mhm.
and he loves and like one of the big things behind the name of Maki is like my nickname my parents gave me is Maki, so the character is named after me.
That's really
And
cool.
also after Maki sushi, there's a specific sushi type.
Mhm.
And so I came up with these both names, and I called it in Maki after that. So I would of course order some Maki sushi for him.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. I'm sure he'd love it. So, you know, if they had an indie version of Super Smash Brothers and Makis was in it, would you feel a little bad about putting like facing Makis off against like the Hollow Knight characters?
Well, it would be that's a really tough question. I would love to see Maki fighting Hollow Knight.
Hmm.
It would be a great thing to see, and I would be excited for it. So if anyone at Nintendo or anyone at Team Cherries would
Hmm.
invite me there, I would of course say yes.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, Mateo, before we go though, I have one last sort of pitch. Tell the people, give one last final pitch about Makis Adventures, if you will.
Like I want to use a situation right now. So if you anticipate Hollow Knight Silksong, try to give Maki's Adventure a play, because I think you will like the game if you wait for Hollow Knight, the new game. And maybe like it's really Hollow Knight inspired, and Hollow Knight players love the game. I post on Hollow Knight Reddit, and they really loved it.
Mhm.
Like the moderators didn't even delete my post because they really loved the game too. It's really funny for my side. But yeah, if you wait for Silk Song, give Maki's Adventure a play, you will like it,
I love
I
that.
think.
I love that. And yeah, I completely agree with you. You're gonna love this game. Just give it a shot, and you know, 5 to 6 hours later, you're going to be rolling credits, and you're gonna be like, "Wow, that was a really tight, really good experience." So,
Thank
Mateo,
you.
before we go though, I have one last thing for you, and it is I lied earlier because I said that that initial question was going to be the hardest experience of your life. No, it's not. It's this segment coming up. It is our Pro Nerd Trivia Challenge, where I'm going to ask you 5 different categories, so 5 different questions based on 5 different categories of nerdiness. So if you get all 5 correct, you go in our Pro Nerd Hall of Fame, and you become one of the most distinguished people on the face of the planet at that point. But the record stands that only one person has earned that honor. But I believe in you. I have every faith in you because you look like a person of culture. You look like you know your nerdiness. So we're going to see if you're going to be a pro nerd. Are you ready, Mateo?
Like I will blame myself, and I don't think that will like me, because I have absolutely zero knowledge about Marvel, for example. It's like I grew up with Nintendo games, and you can ask me about Zelda, for example. I would 90% answer every question you get me, but
Mhm.
like from superheroes and Marvel, I sadly do not get that many contact. But we will see. I'm ready for the pro nerd quiz.
Okay. We'll see. So, here we go. All right. So I have with me on my screen over here the Pro Nerd Trivia Wheel of Destiny, and we're gonna hit that button right now. See what it lands on, and round and round and round it goes. It has stopped. All right. So I hope you're familiar with the wizarding world of Harry Potter, because that is what the first one is.
Like I watched every movie back then, but I
Mhm.
didn't even dive into Hogwarts Legacy right now because I don't have time. But we will see.
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right. So, what is the name of the sport Harry Potter participates in at
Quidditch.
Hogwarts? Yeah. So you got the first one correct. All right. All right. So he knows his Harry Potter. At least he knows his Quidditch Harry Potter. Now let's go to our next one. On our next one, we're going into space, everyone, because we're talking about Star Wars. Are you
Oh
ready?
no.
Oh no, he said, "Oh no."
I watched the Clone Wars series. I loved it, but I'm not that big fan of the Star Wars series. But maybe I know the answer. Let's
Maybe
see.
so. Maybe so. All right. There is a famous actor by the name of Samuel L. Jackson. What character does he play in the Star Wars franchise?
Wow. I don't know that much about the actors, to be honest.
Okay.
I will give a guess.
hmm
Um, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay. Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
I am afraid that is incorrect, but for your reference, this character is named Mace Windu. He was the Jedi with the purple lightsaber.
Oh, okay.
And let's see. Now let's move on to our next category. It is, surprisingly, you might be excited about this one because it has officially landed on Nintendo.
Okay, we will. I'm excited.
Nintendo trivia. All right. So, okay, here we go. All right. So, in the world of Nintendo, we have a character known as Star Fox. What was the amphibian in the Star Fox franchise?
Amphibian.
This might be up your alley. You seem to like aquatic type animals, or like like amphibians and different types of animals like that.
Didn't get in touch with Star Fox, to be honest. I just play a lot in Smash.
Okay.
I know there was Falco, this Falco-like character, and the fox, of course, but amphibian. I have to pass this question. I don't know. I don't know any.
All right. So for future reference, the amphibian, he is a toad known as Slippery Toad.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you got it right. There was Fox McCloud, there's Falco, there's Wolf, and there's this bunny by the name of Peppy Hare, and then there's Slippy Toad. So that is the answer. So you got 2 wrong, 1 correct, but you're doing pretty good so far. Like you're not leaving here with 0. So I feel like that's a good start. All right, so let's go spin the wheel. All right, so the wheel has landed on the world of anime.
Okay.
Okay, you sound a little excited about that. All right. So, what is the main character? Who is the main character from the anime known as Bleach?
Ichigo Kurosaki.
Yeah, so you know your anime.
Yeah, animes are like I know like 15 different animes, and Bleach was one of the enemies, luckily.
Yeah. So before we move on, have you been watching the new season of Bleach?
I read a lot of the manga parts of the game of the anime, but like I just love to watch the fight scenes of the anime because I love the animation style and the fights there, but I couldn't continue the anime because like when I watched Bleach very actively, it was like you could only like get it on DVD,
Hmm.
and it was too expensive to continue with the anime, and there was One Piece on the TV, and I just watched every different episode of One Piece back then. So I changed my main anime then.
All right. So we have, for your final question, you have a category of A or category B. I'm gonna let you choose your destiny here. So,
Okay,
so I'm not gonna tell you which category is which, but if A is one way, B is another way. So which one would you like to go?
I would take B.
Option B. I like it. I like it. Let's see what option B was. Option B is in the world of PlayStation. Do you feel confident about that one?
Never owned a PlayStation.
Oh no. Oh no. All right. So here we go then. Let's hope that you get it correct. All right. Who is the main character, the male main character in the franchise known as Uncharted?
Oh, I didn't play the game, so
Oh no.
I will
Okay.
go there with two correct and three wrong, I think.
I like it. I like it. But for future reference, the name of the character is Nathan Drake.
I know the name, but I didn't played any Uncharted.
Mhm.
I watched some Let's Plays back a few years or a few months ago, but I couldn't
Okay.
remember it.
Okay. So I think you did pretty good. Two out of five ain't bad. And especially considering you were worried. You were worried. You felt like you knew had some gaps there in your, like in your nerdiness. And I feel like you did pretty well. The Harry Potter one, you
Thank
came
you.
out the blocks hot.
Yeah, I mean Quidditch is really popular, and Harry Potter is also like a really big franchise, and Quidditch is a name I really like remember a lot because it's like it sounds so unique, Quidditch, if you know what
Okay.
I mean.
Hmm.
Like it's very easy to remember unique names. Of course, like for example, Ichiro Kurosaki is also like a really unique name, and it's more unique than I would say like some Pokemon names in these
Yeah,
days.
that's true. That's true. All right. So before we go though, just out of curiosity, favorite One Piece character. Who is it?
My favorite character is Lorna Zoro, of course.
Hmm. Everyone
But
loves Zoro. Everyone
yeah,
loves Zoro.
he's like badass, and he is really like this tough guy. And later in the series, we um we got to know his warm side and not only his cold side, where he just is like, I don't care about you all. I just want to go to the place number one.
Hmm.
And it's like his like development over the anime is like it's really great to see, and it's like everybody wanted to be like a really funny story. I watched One Piece when I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I trained in front of a TV because I wanted to look like Zoro back then.
That's amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's like one thing, like everybody want to look like Zoro and be that cool as Zoro, and it's
Hmm.
like I think it's the favorite character of many people.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. If all the people I talk to, like he's in the top three responses that I always get. It's
Yeah.
always, it's always him. Every once in a while I'll get like a Nami, or every once in a while I'll get a Luffy, but like Zoro's always in that conversation though. So that's pretty much a wrap for today's show. But before we go though, where can the good people find you?
The good people can find me on Twitter. Like only type ZoroArts or Makis Adventure and you will find my name, my account. You can find me on Instagram, ZoroArts, and I think you can find me everywhere, like 9gag, Reddit, Twitch. I stream there very inactively. So it's like
Hmm.
I streamed a lot earlier, but right now I love TikTok. I'm really active on TikTok and I built a community there. So if you want to follow my development, you can find me on TikTok, also ZoroArts. And TikTok is really like a really good point for us developers, and it's a really good thing to build a range and find new players. And of course, YouTube. I have a YouTube channel where I post game trailers and also like very soon tutorials how I made some things about the games. And yeah, I have the website called www.makisadventure.com.
Mhm.
It's like also where you find every information about the game, and of course Steam.
For sure, for sure. Everyone check out Steam for sure because you're going to want to play this game. It is absolutely one of the best times I've had with video games in 2023. So definitely go check
Thank you.
this out. All the links to all the descriptions that he just stated will be in the show notes. They'll be in the description of this video and of this episode if you're listening on Spotify and on Apple. All of those, all the links will be there. So, Mateo, before we go, though, it's been really great talking to you. I have to get your perspective on something. You currently live in Germany, and
Yeah.
as a person who is interested in German food, what would your recommendation be to me?
I would 100% recommend Schnitzel. It's
Okay.
like the most popular, one of the most popular foods, I think. It's like really tasty and like I love it. I love Schnitzel.
Okay.
Um, and of course also like sausages here are really great. Like also like curry sausage,
Mm-hmm.
currywurst in Germany. It tastes so good and I cannot eat enough of it.
Is it spicy?
Um, you can eat it very spicy. I also love spicy. I love the chicken wings from KFC, for example. I love to eat it, and but that's like almost a limit for me in spiciness. So
Mhm.
maybe you will also like you can order like 500 to 1 million Scoville on the
Mhm.
curry sausage. So it's like for everyone, and I could recommend it to you.
Okay, I like that
If you
one.
if we travel to Germany, I could give you some great spots, and we could go there and have a diner if you want.
All right, that sounds like a plan. Gamescom's coming up. We're gonna have to link up, and you're gonna have to
Yeah, I
show me some good
definitely be
spots.
there.
All right, for sure, for sure. Well, Mateo, it's been very cool to have you on the podcast today. I thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for the invitation. Was like it was a really great time. I really feel comfortable here, and it's like I really like you got the completely correct questions to ask a developer, and it's like nothing I had to think about my answer before I like just let out my thoughts, and it feels great to be here. And I would love to maybe for my next game be here too if you want.
Oh
We
yeah,
can
for sure, for
would
sure.
love to get to keep the contact, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
For sure. Anytime you are available, I would love to have you on the show. If you want to come on and talk about Breath of the Wild or even Link's Awakening or even, talk about Tears of the Kingdom, hit your boy up and I will have you on the show. You're part of the Pro Nerd fam now. So yeah, well next time you come out with a game, just hit me up too and we're going to have another deep discussion episode about it. So Mateo,
Awesome, thank you.
it's been fun. We are all out of time for today's episode, but before we go, I got to say to everyone, to the people, I cannot stress this enough. You need to play Makis Adventure. You're going to have a really good time. It's a really fun game. It has a lot of unique mechanics in it, and it combines some of the familiar aspects of games that you know in the best way possible. If you want to know more about it, definitely check out the trailer. It'll also be in the link in the description below. So that's a wrap for today's episode. Mateo, I will see you next time.
Thank you.
All right,
Have a
bye.
nice evening.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked the video, hit that like button. Also, for more videos just like this one, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right here. Thanks again for watching the video, and for more like it, stay right here at the Pro Nerd Report channel. So that's a wrap for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit that like button. Also hit the subscribe button for more videos just like this one. I also want to let you know about the Single Player Experience Discord server. It's a perfect place for single player gamers to talk about the good single player games that they've been playing lately and to get video game recommendations. Think of it kind of like a book club for single player gamers. The link to join will be in the description. Once you're in, feel free to share your video game backlog list, talk about the good single player games you've been playing, or give your feedback on the show. If you have a game you think it should be recommended and should be reviewed, let me know about it right there. Before we go, I just want to thank you once again for listening to today's episode. Stay safe, stay gaming, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace.